After reading the gospel of this Sunday, we can come to some practical and logical conclusions. Being a disciple of Jesus is not easy at all. That's the first conclusion. Being a disciple of Jesus is not easy at all. Second conclusion, discipleship in the Christian life has a high cost, but also a great satisfaction and a great rewards. However, the million-dollar question is this: are you and I really ready to be true disciples of Jesus? And this is the question I would like to invite you to answer during the week. Are you really ready to be true disciples of Jesus? In remembering our brother, friend, an integral member of this congregation, Gilbert Taylor, who returned to the Father's house last Tuesday, I know that through his life, Gilbert understood very well what it means to be a true disciple of Jesus. We can say that Gilbert was a Christian who knew how to carry his cross. In contrast, there are many Christians who do not like to carry the cross on their shoulders. But let me tell you something that we all know very well. There cannot be no resurrection without the cross. If there are no cross, there are no resurrection. Nonetheless, we generally call ourselves Christians, but many times we do not like sacrifice. We do not like to give up our little personal pleasures. We turn our face to another more pleasant and comfortable side, looking more convenient direction. Still, there cannot be no resurrection without the cross. Therefore, this is the invitation that the Apostle Paul extends to us in the epistle, the second reading. Be free. You have to be free. Be free, break the chains of sin. Live by the Spirit, and do not gratify the desires of the flesh. That is why today's gospel begins by telling us that Jesus set his face toward Jerusalem, meaning he sets his face to the cross. He set his face to the sacrifice. He set his face to the pain. Subsequently, only the disciple who put his hand on the plow and does not look back is worthy of following him. You heard the gospel. 3 people appear in the gospel willing to follow him in this way of the cross. The first man tells him, I will follow you wherever you go. Wherever you go, I will follow you. Jesus responds, in other words, are you ready for this? This is not going to be an easy journey. Are you ready? The second person, that person has more luck. It is Jesus who tells him, follow me. Follow me. To this man responds by saying, certainly. But first, excuse me for a couple days, please. I have to make arrangements for my father's funeral. I will do it. But first, let me bury my father. Jesus' response is radical, very radical. Follow me and let the dead bury their death. Stop looking at the past. You have to look for the future. The third person would give a similar excuse. Lord, I am ready to follow you, but let me first say farewell to those at my home. Dear brothers and sisters, the invitation that Jesus extends to us today is to focus forward. Look towards future, never look backwards. Jesus has his priorities very clear, and he wants to motivate us with that vision. When we, as individuals, families, community, or church, put our eyes, thoughts, and hearts in the past, this does not allow us to move forward. It slows us. If we always have our arms embracing the past, how are we going to be able to embrace the future? It is not possible. Our arms are busy embracing the past. We have to embrace the future. We have to embrace changes in our life. It is not impossible. Brothers and sisters, other important matters will always compete for our time and attention. However, when our loyalty to those matters claim first place, we who are disciples compromise Jesus' goal on our lives. I want to end by reminding you of these beautiful words of Paul that we heard in the second reading. Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to the yoke of slavery. Live by the Spirit. Do not gratify the desires of the flesh. For what the flesh desires is opposed to the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. We have to see this fruit of the Spirit in our congregation. Further, those who belong to Christ, and we belong to Christ, those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified their flesh with its passions and desires. Because we belong to Christ, our passions and desires have to be crucified. If we live by the Spirit, let us also be guided by the Spirit. Amen.